Hey, what's up? I'm Conway. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember Three Ninjas? Three Ninjas is the story of brothers Rocky, Colt, and Tom Tom. Rocky is the leader of the group, Colt is the hothead, and Tom Tom is the junk food eating youngest brother. I can tell you personally that Colt was probably my favorite growing up, simply because I was a hothead. I was most definitely smack first, asking no questions later. It's not even in between. The boys would always spend their summers with their grandfather, Mori Tanaka, and he would always teach them the art of ninjutsu. Loved this movie growing up, but I used to always feel like their training was pointless as fuck. Like, what the hell is the point of learning all these fighting moves and not be able to whoop somebody's ass? Like, I understand the whole ninja code thing, but Rocky definitely should have whooped that bully's ass at the beginning, but that's just me. They would use the techniques they learned on their grandfather, and they went hard as hell, but could never really get him. Rocky Colt Tom Tom's father is FBI agent Sam Douglas, who ironically is going after ninja criminal arms dealer Snyder. I say ironically because Sam doesn't know that the boy's grandfather used to teach Snyder. Sam and the FBI keep trying to go on missions to catch Snyder, but they can't because he's a fucking ninja and it's hard as hell. Sam and the FBI totally fuck up the whole situation they had going. Snyder then decides to take it upon himself to visit his old instructor. Snyder brings these weak ass ninjas with him and they all proceed to get their ass whooped.
It's your son-in-law, Sam Douglas. Get him off my back for a couple weeks. For his sake. And yours.
Now, if this was me, I would have faded him on sight. Ain't nobody with a Steven Seagal hair plug finna talk to me like I'm crazy as fuck. But Tanaka says no, and he proceeds to amp up the training. Side note, watching this movie when I was younger, I used to always watch this and feel like all of this couldn't have happened in one day. It used to amaze me. Like, either Snyder was just a stanky motherfucker and he just never washed that suit after getting into a whole fight with the FBI, jumping off of buildings and shit to planes. Or, he just got it quickly dry cleaned. But I'm pretty sure that this happened all in one day. Summer's over and the boys go back home to see their dad, who doesn't really give a fuck about them. I call him Deadbeat Sam. You ain't seen your kid in like 2 or 3 months, and now your ass finna go off. Young deadbeat.
Bad enough he's got you doing karate all summer. What, they need new names?
First day back at school, and we get the whole 90s bully montage. Why? Because it's a 90s movie, and what the fuck is a 90s kid movie without a bully montage? I should also mention at this point, Snyder has hired the 3 fucking stooges to come after the boys. Hey, you would think with all the money Snyder has, he would at least try to spend some money on actually getting some professionals. No way you can be a villain like this and be a dumbass. The boys' parents end up leaving them with a babysitter. She was ugly as hell, and she just let them eat and fuck around the whole time in their very 90s bedroom that every kid of the 90s probably would have liked. Like, I know personally for me, I saw that bedroom and I wanted to make my room like that the very next day. 3 stooges eventually show up and trick their way in the house, and the boys take the opportunity to not call the police, but to let the ninja training that they learned from their grandfather take full effect, so that this way they can show that their training is great and it's not just some nerd shit like their father thinks so. We knew the 3 stooges would end up receiving a Home Alone style ass whooping, but getting caught by Snyder's main thug, which for the life of me I still can't understand. Why would you hire 3 dumbasses to do a job that the main guy could have done the whole time? You just wasted so much time and money. That's just dumb. Boys' parents end up finding out, and they proceed to get the whole FBI on the case immediately. And then the grandfather arrives and all ninja suited up and shit, and to make sure he gets his kids back. Snyder then has the boys in the holding cell to keep them from getting out. The boys then have to talk and remember how their grandfather gave them a whole spiel about being able to use anything in any situation or something like that. They escape while doing a bunch of Mortal Kombat shit, all to end up meeting with their grandfather for the final escape. They can't just leave because Snyder has to challenge Grandpa to a whose dick is bigger contest. Grandpa's stunt double was working his ass off in this scene. Grandpa ends up defeating Snyder with some nasty ass jelly beans Tum Tum probably had in his drawers. But Snyder can't take a loss like a real one. And he ends up bringing out the strap, which he should have done in the first place. That's his biggest problem in this whole damn movie. Everything you should have done, you always do second, which is too late. Snyder ends up getting his ass blasted before he can take the last shot because young deadbeat Sam shows up with the FBI and saves the day. Sam finally stops neglecting his kids and decides that, hey, the whole ninja thing does work. It's not some nerd shit. But then he decides to take them out for pizza. Come on now. This dude, Sam, ain't seen his kid in 2 months, maybe 3. You shitted on they whole hobby. They got kidnapped by a great value ass Steven Seagal, and now you want to take them out for pizza. That sounds very 90s like, because 90s pizza solved damn near everything. All in all, man, I still love this movie to today. You can tell me how corny it is. You can tell me how cheesy it is. You can tell me it was a terrible movie. I would not care. Being able to see this movie as a young kid was something that pretty much amazed me. Even if it was cheesy, even if it was corny, I didn't care. And I still to this day don't care. It's something that when I do have kids, I'll pass down to them and I'll let them see it. But as kids, I think a lot of times when we judge things of today, or even when we judge things of the past as adults today, we get too caught up in the fact that, oh, this was this was that. But when you were a kid, you weren't thinking that way. When you were a kid, you may have thought it was corny, but it was still something that was kind of like, whoa. Like, I'm sure this movie caused a lot of people to want to get into different types of karate and other styles of that nature, but this was something that will always be iconic in my eyes, and it'll be something that I keep continuing to watch all my life. I'm DD Conway, and in the comments below, please tell me what you thought about this movie. Like and subscribe for me, please. Thank you.